I never create a NestJS file manually. So I let the Nest CLI do all the work, which saves me a lot of time and avoids mistakes. In this video, I'll show you how to use 20 Nest CLI commands and provide additional tips so that you can spend more time coding what really matters instead of manually typing boilerplate code. So let's dive in and boost your productivity with NestJS CLI. But the first thing to do is to install the npm CLI package. And once you have that installed, we can activate the CLI superpowers, starting with creating a NestJS project. For that, the first command is nest new. The command will create the boilerplate code with a hello world controller, and this generates what is known as a standard NestJS project. Towards the end of the video, I'll show you how to convert it into a Monorepo project. But next, you probably want to create your own modules with the nestGenerate module command. And once you have your module, you can create service with nestGenerate service and a controller with nestGenerate controller. And if you want to go even faster, you can use the alias G instead of generate. When you create files this way, the CLI ensures that they are in the right module folder and even updates the module providers and controllers list for you. And by using only those 4 commands, you already save yourself a lot of boring work, and you can start implementing your services methods and your controllers handlers. But you can generate all these files and methods even faster with the nestGenerate resource command. With this command, you can get the module, the controller, and the service files in one go. And on top of that, you can even get the boilerplate code for CRUD operations and DTOs and entity files as well. So I've selected REST API, but of course you can also generate GraphQL resources, and you can also manually generate resolvers with nestGenerate resolver. And if you use WebSockets, you can also generate gateways with nestGenerate gateway. All that is left for you to do is fill the gaps and start your app with the command nest start, or nest start with the watch option if you want to have a hot reload as you make changes. And once you're happy with the changes, you can build your application with nest build, which compiles your TypeScript files and save the output in the dist folder. But it doesn't stop there. So as I told you in the beginning, I never create a NestJS file manually. So everything I need to control the request lifecycle can be generated. And if I need to create a middleware file, I use nestGenerate middleware command. But if I don't want my middleware to be in the root folder, I can pass the relative path alongside the middleware name. And to check that the CLI produces the expected result, I can also use the dry run option, which shows me the expected changes without creating the files. And if I'm happy, I can run the command without the dry run option, and that will generate the files. And of course, I can also generate guards with nestGenerate guard, interceptors with nestGenerate interceptor, pipes with nestGenerate pipe, filters with nestGenerate filter. And by the way, if you don't want to generate the test files, you can also use the no spec option. That way you don't have the test files. But sometimes you might need additional files inside a module like decorators or provider, and you can generate those with nestGenerate decorator and nestGenerate provider. However, the issue is that unless the file name matches the module, NestJS will generate the file at the root level. So you have 2 ways of telling NestJS where you want your file to go. The first one is to use a relative path, and the second one is to add the file name followed by the module name. As you can see, the generated file is generated in its own folder, but if you don't want that, you can use the flat option. For example, you can generate an interface file with the nestGenerate interface command with the flat option, and alongside the interface, you can also generate a generic class file with nestGenerate class. You can go even further and manage multiple applications within the same project. For that, you can convert your standard project into a Monorepo project with the nestGenerate app command, and this will add a new application to your project, and it will completely change the folder structure. So you now have 2 applications inside the apps folder, and your initial application is still there, of course, but you also have the new application you've just generated. But even if those apps are in separate folders, they can still share common code through libraries that you can generate with the Nest generate library command. As you can see, we've already reached 20 commands, and to thank you for staying all the way, here is an extra command as a bonus and a thank you. This is the only command you ever need to remember, and is the Nest command with the help option. So this gives you a full summary of everything we've just seen, plus the aliases so that you can make your commands even shorter. If at any point you felt lost, you can watch this next video where I explain 10 key concepts you need to understand any Nest.js project. And I also go through everything you need to understand the request lifecycle in Nest, and I'll also explain how Nest.js is not just for building APIs.